So, yeah, so here's Kristen from Food52, which I don't, Jeff, do you know Food52?
I tend to eat out too much. I was at the beginnings of Epicurious with Joan Feeney and Rochelle Udell and other wonderful people who started Epicurious. And it was a vicarious thrill for me to be near people who could actually cook.
It's really not that hard.
That's what they've been telling me for years. When my wife couldn't cook because she was on bed rest because we had our first son, I nearly killed her with raw chicken. So.
Oh no!
So I live vicariously when I see neat ideas around half-cooked eggs and things, and read what you said in Quartz. It's delicious, and I want to do it, but I'm jealous.
Okay.
So explain it.
Kristen is here for you.
Yes. So, I mean, the thing is, our Food52 is for home cooks. It's not meant to be. I mean, we take inspiration from chefs and from cookbook authors, but it's a crowdsourced website at its core, and it's home cooks sharing inspiration in the kitchen. And actually, our new app, which is very new compared to yours, it's only a few months old, is meant for people like you to be able to show what they're cooking at home actually right now. It's called Not Recipes. So that's the thing. You don't have to be able to write a recipe to use the app and share what you're cooking, or just go on and just kind of see what other people are cooking. You don't have to
I love that idea that a recipe is a frightening thing. Mm-hmm. Quick embarrassing story from my youth. When I was young and single in San Francisco, I tried to impress a young woman with my cooking, and this was a mistake. And I made a pumpkin chiffon pie. My mother's recipe. It was. And I saw it said, 2 1/2 C period canned pumpkin. I thought, well, that's just so inexact. 2 1/2 cans of pumpkin? Didn't work out very well. So yeah, this idea that you have a right way to do it, which is a recipe. Mm-hmm. What's really intriguing about your app is that it says, no, you got a little of this, you got a little of that, just put it together and it tastes good.
Exactly, right? And the fact that you can kind of browse through and see very quickly, visually, and in very short captions, the full description of how you make something, takes it out of the lengthy 20-step recipe.
Give a few examples.
So, eggs, the easiest thing in the world. People make them all different ways, and you can describe how to make them in just a sentence. But there are little ways that you can add in your own tricks and tips and things like that. For example, Jenni was just recently using the app, and she learned how to do baked eggs in a ramekin in the oven. So you can describe that in just a few words, like 400 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven. I added X, Y, and Z herbs. I coated the ramekin with butter. I baked until it looked like this, and you describe. You can describe in just a few quick little conversational blurbs how to do this thing. But you can also do it with more complicated things too, roast chicken, or even desserts. Even though baking is a fairly exact thing, you can describe. I took this base recipe for Marion Burroughs' purple plum torte, but it's raspberry season, so I threw in raspberries and I sprinkled turbinado sugar on top or something like that. You can take a base recipe and kind of riff and describe how you did that.
But part of what's great about it too is that the Food52 network is so rich. So it's like the way that I have like 2 friends who are my bat lines for cooking, where I'll text Indrani or I'll text my friend Nicolette and be like, this is what I have, what do I make? Or at the beginning of the week, if I'm really uninspired, I'll just be like, what are you making this week? And it's basically a whole network of people like that where you can open it and be like, oh, whoa, I never thought, I have all this stuff in my fridge. I never thought, I own ramekins. I never use them ever, those little dishes that you put in the oven. And then I was like, oh, you could just put an egg in it.
That's what you do with it.
And yeah, exactly, that's what you do with it. And to sort of have somebody show you that, and then you can click on that person and be like, well, what else are they making? And it opens this whole community.
Can you go ask them questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, you can have a conversation with them.
It basically disrupts the call to mom. How do I make this? Help!
Yes, I know. Moms everywhere are thanking us.
Yeah.
Or not, maybe.
You got this.
I'll go back to the ancient days of the net. When we started Epicurious at Condé Nast, we had the recipes of Gourmet and Bon Appetit. They're perfect. Who would change those? And one of the great lessons about interactivity that I learned from doing that was two things. One was they opened something called Gail's Recipe Swap, which no intention. Now you know it. Now it's the essence and DNA of what you do. But back in my day, that was a new thing to imagine. People had all these recipes to share, and of course, other things came along. The other thing that occurred was the reaction to a Mexican chocolate cake recipe from Bon Appetit. People say, well, no, I substituted the water with coffee. No, that was a little too strong. Then I did this. Then I did that. The remixing, literally, of recipes is just really wonderful to watch.
Yes, and people will always do that, and you can't stop them. And so we decided to harness that and put it in a very digestible format for people to be able to learn from.
So, what's the relation of the two brands and companies then?
Between Food52 and Not Recipes. So Food52 it has been around for about 6 years. It's it's kind of the umbrella of everything we do. It's recipes, a shop. We do cookbooks. We have a hotline for cooks to type their questions in real time and get help. But the app, when we were trying to think of what to do for an app, we were like, what do? We do so many things. Should we do a recipes app? Should we do a shopping app? These are things that we already know are kind of our bread and butter that people like to do on Food52, but those things also already exist. And so we thought what there actually isn't already in this space is capturing of the cooking that people are doing really every day, which is often without a recipe, and being able to tap into that and harness it and put it on a platform to share with other cooks. And so that's why we decided to try Not Recipes instead of trying to do like a mini version of Food52 or some channel that we were already doing on our website.
Now, Jenni, when you wrote about this, of course, you started off with the use case, we like to say, of here's what I have in the cupboard, what the hell do I do with it? How do you use it in that sense?
So, I bought sorrel at the farmer's market, which is a lemony green. And like a ramekin, I bought it without knowing what to do with it. It just appealed to me. So you can search by ingredient. So I opened, you can open the app and search and say, okay, I have sorrel. What can you make with it? Or, radishes looked amazing. What do people use radishes for? So yeah, you can search by ingredient, and then as you sort of find people that you're like, this person is always doing sort of really simple things that appeal to me or are healthy or for whatever reason you like them, and then you can follow that person. So that's how I'm using it. And it's funny. I was saying to Kristen, I still eat eggs for dinner all the time, but now I have different ways of making them.
And you see that everyone else is eating eggs for dinner too, and that's completely okay.
That's the other thing. It's super reassuring.
Totally normal.
So yeah,
So,
which is the community thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll ask the same question. You've been here in New York from the beginning.
Yes.
Did you ever think you had to be in San Francisco?
No, we were founded by Amanda Hesser and Meryl Stubbs, who are two food writers and editors who came up in the New York Times. So our base has always been here. I think it would be pretty tough to uproot them.
And the other cliched question is, are you a food content company or a technology company?
Definitely both.
Both, okay.
Yeah, like Jenni was saying earlier, the technology is to facilitate everything else that we're doing. And we try, like with this app, we tried really hard to come up with interesting tools that would make it easier for people to do this. By recognizing ingredients, by making smart linking so that you can direct out, for a video on a technique or something like that, or a base recipe. Just kind of making it as friendly as possible for people, and using technology to do that. But really, in essence, they're sharing what they're cooking at home with fairly, rudimentary, normal tools.
And did you have problems finding technology people to work with?
No, sometimes
Free food.
Well, also our we don't feed you.
Always
We do.
Yeah.
We do. There's always food sitting, but our product team is spread all over the country actually.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, they don't get to have the free food as often as the rest of us. But they work from all over New York. Some are in Michigan, some are in various Virginia. And they're able to come together and work on things like this. But our app is a team of one. And so when people,
Wow.
with some support from the rest of the team. But when we launched and people were clamoring for certain features, we were like, okay, we are going to get you features as soon as we possibly can. We are prioritizing, depending on what you guys want. But we do have this one. Mike will appreciate your patience.
Well, I kind of like that. Hi, here's Mike. He can only do so much.
Exactly.
Prioritize his work.
That was
Don't
actually very
do everything.
effective too.
Yeah.
The people who were clamoring for Android, and they're very, very vocal.
Yes.
Yes. We were able to say, we really want to give you Android as soon as we possibly can. We'll get Mike right on that.
A singular person.
Well, there's a wonderful, in the journalism world, there's a wonderful company called Hearken, which enables you to basically, the public to assign the journalist. And then the public fights over what they should assign. So, hi, I'm Jenni, I'm your journalist today, what should I do? And here's 10 ideas. And then the people in the app will fight over that and vote up the one thing. And at the end of the day, here's Jenni, here's what we all want you to do. Then interestingly, you take that person who suggested it along on the story.
Whoa.
Which is really kind of cool. And you imagine assigning and prioritizing your work, right, journalistically, but even for Mike. Say, okay, Mike's only got so much time, you guys fight it out. What do you really want most? Would be kind of interesting. Poor Mike gets no vacation, but he's loved.
He is, yeah. He has a lot of fans.
Are you? Is the company ad supported as a whole, or what's the?
We have a few different channels. We have our shop where we sell home goods, tools, and home decor and things like that. And then definitely advertising. We also sell cookbooks. The app itself is free, but we have a variety of other things that we sell.
Good luck.
Including our content.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks so much for having me.
So you have one more.
Yeah, so we also